You're renting out basketball stadiums, you're going around the country doing in-person podcasts. What have you been seeing from doing the in-person versus doing it remotely?
Most B2B podcasts is like Zoom screens, kind of shitty quality, two people, kind of shitty audio. So for me, I wanted something super different. So one would be in person, and two, that the backdrop of that thumbnail is really different.
Stops the scroll.
Stops the scroll, exactly. I've always thought it would be cool to be a cult leader. People buy into stories and emotions and belief systems. Tell your origin story.
Start your villain arc.
Yeah, your villain arc, right? Like what started, what happened to you? How did that make you feel? And what belief system came from that? That is actually the good, valuable stuff. And then it puts context to the like, why we made this software. Tell and sell your belief systems, and then people will line up to buy from you.
What do you got coming up, Devin? What are you excited for?
We're going to go all in on YouTube. That's my big bet next year is YouTube.
We've been saying YouTube for B2B is super untapped. What's your thoughts on that?
I think if you're a YouTuber trying to cross into like our world of B2B, I don't think that's going to land. But if you can bring the credibility of B2B to YouTube, I think that will work. And the reason I'm just going to jump on it now after some conviction is like, it's probably going to take a couple years for like these to really get, some momentum. So I'm like, might as well just start now.
Do you think companies can be successful on YouTube?
100%. Yeah, companies can be successful on any channel.
Welcome to another episode of the EventShark podcast. Today we have the legendary Devin Reed, formerly led content at Gong and Clari, and now is running The Reader. Amazing host of a podcast, content, all that shit. Read between the lines, great show, The Reader, amazing. Some say the best.
Many people have said the best podcast in B2B. Mostly just me saying that.
This guy knows B2B content.
Yeah.
He knows a few things.
This is the GOAT of B2B content. Some say.
Ooh.
Yes.
We're at Drive right now 2025. You're here last year. You're talking all about executive content. Tell us what is different between last year and this year with executive content.
I think the biggest difference is last year, it was like a little more convincing people, like executives, that they should be on LinkedIn and publishing. And I think now, like there's a lot of demand for it where they're like, we've accepted the truth. We know we should be active. What do we do? How do we do this? I think they've like crossed that tipping point of like, okay, the time is now, we need to get active. And a lot of times people that were resistant last year are coming and telling me like, hey, my competitor is like their CEO is crushing it. I see them all the time. It drives me crazy. How do I get active?
Facts. True.
Yeah.
It's the CEOs have gone into content creator mode, I think is what you said last year. Something like that.
Yeah, they just like executives have just realized like LinkedIn's not for the intern and there's real leads and real money to be made.
And so how does this relate to, what are we wearing right now? Organic growing? What is this?
Tell us all about this. The technically second, but the newest merch drop from The Reader. Organic and growing was the theme of the drop. So we're doing less like, I don't think you'll ever see a t-shirt that just has like Reader brand on it, right? Because like swag, I think it's like stuff we all get. I don't know if that's the original meaning of swag.
I think it's something we Asians got.
Something we Asians get. I can't comment on that based on my hereditary background. But I can say is like, if you think about what makes like great brands, it's exclusivity and it's also like intentional design, right? So like no one wants like just a bunch of shit that has like random company names on it. I believe like we want to buy into brands, we buy into belief systems. So I looked at like organic and growing. Who doesn't want to be growing? We're all natural. You want to do it the right way. There we go. We got the mangoes in the back. Because my wife is Indian, she actually introduced me to mangoes, and mangoes are awesome. And coconut trees, because we live in San Diego now. So I kind of wanted to combine, like, hey, I've been building organic content for a long time. We believe in doing things the right way. We want to grow. And who doesn't like coconut trees and mangoes?
Bars.
Probably not a lot of people.
No one I want to hang out with.
So you've been doing how many seasons? We passed season 2 of Read Between the Lines.
We are actually in the midst of 3 right now. Yeah, midst of 3.
So Devin's he does an in-person podcast, respect. You're renting out basketball stadiums, you're going around the country doing in-person podcasts. What have you been seeing from doing the in-person versus doing it remotely? So
like the reason why I want to do in-person was if you think of like where do shows get discovered, it's your friends telling you about them, word of mouth, and 2, it's on social media, right? Like that's where I hear about all of my podcasts. So if you think of like how do I win on the feed is I wanted the thumbnail to be radically different from anything else. So most B2B podcasts or even just like business work podcasts is like Zoom screens, right? So like kind of shitty quality, two people, kind of shitty audio. Nothing against Zoom podcasts, but like that's mostly what they often look like. So for me, I wanted something super different. So one would be in person, and two, that the backdrop of that thumbnail is really different. So like you said, one time we rented out a giant basketball court with like city views of Chicago skyline behind it. If you're scrolling and you see Devin and Jen Allen sitting on a basketball court, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what is going on right now?
Stops the scroll.
Stops the scroll, exactly. So then we traveled to different cities, Brooklyn. We just did Las Vegas. That's what's launching right now. Again, just to have a different aesthetic to stop the scroll, and then obviously have a great in-person content, conversation to make great content.
Mic drop.
I can't tell if Jake hates this conversation or if you always panning me.
No, that's just Jake. That's just
Deadpanning
Jake.
you.
I feel like everything I say
like
is like,
mean
you
mugging.
know when you're like interviewing and you're like, I think I crushed that answer, and the person interviewing is like, okay.
I'm thinking about how to weave in how you had a certain rapper didn't show up for your podcast. Was this gonna be repeated?
That's an open transition is the great transition.
the great transition right there. Maybe to tie it in, you're putting a lot on the line to do in person. And
Yes.
I think it's the way
High risk, high reward.
higher stakes.
And
here.
it doesn't always pan out. It does not always pan out. So what I do is I go to different cities. I book 3 to 4 people. At least in Vegas, I wanted to do, have a theme, which was betting on yourself, taking creative risks. I was like, let me bet on myself and take a risk and get a Bay Area rapper, because I'm from Sacramento and a lot in the Bay Area. And so I had LaRussell come. I booked him, and then I booked a few people like Jess Cook, who's an awesome marketer, Anish Lal, who's my talent agent. He runs the Wishley Group, and Grayson and Adam from Clue. So these are people I know and like and respect. And so I got him on the show. Unfortunately, all those people showed up except for LaRussell. Reached out to him, had a signed contract, paid the $1,500 deposit, and he's texting us like a week later, like wants the full money, like wants all of it up front. And I'm like, nope, we're a legitimate business. We signed a contract. I will give you $1,500 cash in an envelope the second you walk in that studio if you want, but you got to show up. So we held our ground. He's texting, and then like the day of the shoot, we texted like the address. We had to do a studio change, no response. And it was like 2 hours before, Shali, who's like the showrunner, texts, no response. I call and text 30 minutes before, no response. So I'm like pretty sure this guy's not going to show up. All signs are saying that. Yeah, he did not show up. Big fucking reveal. He didn't show up at all. And so I posted a video about this, kind of like the whole, booking him, hoping he showed up, and then my honest opinion on like how it sucks and how he screwed us over. My great friend and even better rapper put out a diss track on LaRussell. It did better numbers than my original video, which I love, the reaction video. And it was super cool. And like a lot of people have come up to me in the last like 4-ish weeks since that video dropped, and like, dude, I heard about that rapper thing. Like, I heard about that. And like, it's kind of cool that people are gravitating towards the story and they're remembering that. And like, I think a lot of people hopefully are getting the message, like, for whatever I've accomplished, like I take creative bets. They don't always pan out. We lost like $4,500 on this attempt. My reaction is like, I'm trying to get E40 as my next big guest. Like instead of like bouncing back into safety, I'm just going to go bigger into Bay Area hip hop artists that I look up to.
E40's son, Imari, went to my high school. Fun fact.
Really?
Fun fact.
I love that they all run with letters, like his cousins be legit. None of you guys. I'm deep into Bay Area rap. I can tell you anything you want to know.
Who's your top 5 Bay Area rappers right now?
Man, I mean, Mac Dre, you gotta,
All-time GOAT.
Yeah.
Like it's Are you asking me?
Mac Dre. I'm asking both of you.
we can
Oh.
collab. I mean, we just
I would say Mac Dre. You have to put Too Short in there.
Yeah,
I don't put Tupac in there, though. A lot of people give him the Oakland background. I put him in LA. I think E40 and Larry June. And those are that's kind of newer and older school guys. Those are my like top 4. Oh, and Andre Nicotina. I bet nobody knows who that is. But if you don't know who Andre Nicotina is,
What's the
drop
song?
a comment and we'll send you a good playlist.
It's hey yo for yeah yo, walk around with yeah yo.
Classic song.
I know a couple
Yeah.
names in the Bay
I'm
Area.
not up on my
That's a
Bay
good song.
Area.
Yeah. Dude, Andre Nicotina, OG.
That's a good story. So one thing I love about the way you do your show is that a lot of people will have a podcast, and then the podcast recordings and the clips, that's the only content come from it, right? I love that you do world building as part of your podcast. The content, the video, everything, very well thought out and planned. And it's not just the podcast episodes that forms the content. To your example about LaRussell, you're in the empty studio. You're like, man, we just got screwed over. We got scammed by this rapper. Damn, that sucks, right? And then that imparted a more emotional piece because you're live in the moment. The wound is fresh instead of just writing the text post about it later on. And even when you got the Clue guys on the podcast, right? Getting the limo and the prank, like, tell us a little bit more about that.
So I noticed this a couple years ago when I made a video and then I released it. And then I did a blooper reel from that video, and that blooper reel did like 3, 4, 5 times better numbers than the original. Chris Lockhead, if anyone knows Chris Lockhead, he was an advisor at this company I was working at, and he kind of was like, yeah, because the content about the content is the stuff people want. So blooper reels is you making it. And then I started applying it to other things like, okay, instead of just publishing a show that is different in the way we talked about, how do I promote the show in a way that's different that no one's doing? Instead of just inviting Adam and Grayson, I'm going to cold DM their CEO and see if he's down to prank them so I can bring them onto the show. That's a story right there. So I'm like, let's do that. When LaRussell scammed us in the moment, I was like, that's a story. Like, yo, you're not going to give me my interview. I will get my story out of this. I actually studied like WWE, like how they tell stories. Like, it's wrestling, but it's actually like a soap opera because you learn about the stories on and off the ring, right? Like, that's all it's about. And so I try to apply that wherever I can of like, not what content am I producing, but what story arc is happening in my life right now, and where do I think people would be most interested. And I do what Harry Jai talked about a lot, which is I look for conflict, I look for tension, I look for times where I'm nervous, because if I'm nervous, then the people watching will probably be nervous. So they'll want to double it down on that and like, follow along in that story.
Got to create some stakes with the content, right?
Yeah, and the world building thing is also very intentional.
A lot of marketers, and sales to a certain extent, it's like everyone talks about the hero's journey, right? But there's other formats of stories. I love wrestling as an example because you got your face and your heel, right? And you could present like a business problem in that same way. Yeah, and it's very cool.
I want to be a heel. I think being a great villain is so underrated.
For anyone in WWE terms, that's heel is the villain, correct?
Yeah. The villain, it's the bad guy.
They build up the villain in WWE, and that's part of the story. And people are like booing them, but they also sometimes want to cheer for them. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, fun fact, started off as a heel.
Exactly. And now he's like the #1 hero, biggest paid Hollywood actor. But I picked up on this too, like kind of nerding out, but like Batman growing up. I loved Batman and his story, but I loved all of the like different villains and their stories. Like that's where I got really interested in, because all those individual stories collect into this one world, and that's what people like. Think about Star Wars and all this, dude. Like that's what people get sucked into.
Darth Vader's got the best story of them all.
That's what I'm saying. It's all stories.
So are you trying to be the villain of B2B? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think I'm the villain in like my real life. There's nothing wrong with being a villain, but you're kind of taking the like hardcore rebel approach. Like you have to commit to it all the time. Like Liquid Death, obviously like the biggest version of that. I think it's a little bit tougher in B2B because it's like, how do you be the Liquid Death of B2B and also get people to trust you with like their political capital and career? I think that's a little bit tough, but you could make a show that's like a rebel brand or a rebel show that's super different, that people feel like, yeah, there's a piece of me that's a rebel. There's a piece of me that wants to go against the man. And like this show is like cathartic for me.
Yeah, totally. I think it could be cool. Like even if it was self-aware, tongue-in-cheek, right? Where like, obviously you're not saying I am a villain, but even as a character, right? Like you
can be villainous.
Villainous? Yeah, it's like, it's like a rapper with an alter ego, right? Like D12, Eminem's rap group. Yeah. 6 people, but D12, they each have an alter ego. Are you Marshall Mathers or are you Slim Shady? All right, this is a question for both of y'all. Who are your top 3 villains of all time?
The first one that popped to mind was Bane from
Damn.
Tom Hardy.
Break the
that voice was just so well done, and there's a whole story of like why they picked that voice too. It's very cool. What about you? Which one came to mind first?
Darth Vader came to mind for me first. We just brought him up, but all time villain.
I got a Bay Area one. 2017 Kevin Durant.
Ooh, as a Warrior fan, I agree. When we got Kevin Durant, even as a Warrior fan, I was like, I would hate us too. This is not fair. The other one was Hulk Hogan, because he also was a hero or the face, and he turned into a heel, and people went crazy. They loved that. Yeah.
Shout out MF Doom. Mad Villainy.
Another lore.
Yeah.
So it's 2025. We're about to enter 2026. We kind of talked about storytelling, but give us something else. Give us something a little bit juicier. How can you make good content in 2026?
So the first is to stop over editing. So that's the #1 thing. There's like messaging by committee, which waters it down. And I've also seen great ideas get over edited by like even 1 or 2 people. And what happens accidentally is you strip out that passion and the rawness and some of the little mistakes. Like it's not perfectly smooth, but that's what makes it great. Jen Allen does a great job of this on her posts. This is a compliment, Jen, if you watch this. I have a feeling that she doesn't edit her post, or does it like one quick thing for like typos and ships it. And you feel that when you read her stuff, it feels authentic. But like that's what happens. And I think the other thing is like I've always thought it would be cool to be a cult leader, like a very nice cult, like a genuine cult. You don't have to give me your money, no weird stuff. Pause for laughter. This is a joke, people. We're having fun today. You have to share your beliefs. So people like, how do I make better content? Is like it's usually very practical, tactical, informational. cool, but people buy into stories and emotions and belief systems. So it's like, why do you operate the way you operate? It's probably because you believe in something, and what you believe in started with a story. Something had to happen to you, right? So I'm like, tell that story. Tell your origin story.
Start your villain arc.
Yeah, your villain arc, right? Like, what happened to you? How did that make you feel? And what belief system came from that? That is actually the good, valuable stuff. And then it puts context to the like, why we made this software, or why I operate the way I do and I sell a service. Like that stuff right there, like tell and sell your belief systems, and then people will line up to buy from you.
Pretty good for on the spot.
Pretty good. 4 on. You got to put a qualifier on that one, Jake. Man, we got the hater in the middle right
I
here.
so desperately wanted Jake's approval after the third deadpan. I was like, I'm bombing.
So good.
Jake will like me. I will force him.
Yeah. Imagine being his co-founder.
Yeah,
I
never.
feel like you have good rat-a-tat. You know him though. I was really thinking, I was like, this guy didn't want me on the show.
Dean, give us a quick ad read for ExitFive.
This episode has been brought to you by ExitFive, the premier destination for B2B marketers, because no one markets by themselves well. To be the greatest version of yourself as a marketer, you need community, education, best practices, and most importantly, friendship and support. Without ExitFive, I would not be the marketer that I am today. So join now, go to exitfive.com, join the community. We have events all over the country coming soon to a city near you. ExitFive, boom.
I think you have a content strategy. You could just do, I'm not saying that was bad, but you could have just like bad ad reads for different companies.
Oh, that was terrible.
That could be, I know it was bad, but I didn't want to be mean. But like it was on purpose. But my point is you could do that for like different companies, and that could be how you prospect them. Like, hey, are you making,
I like
is your
that.
team making videos like this, and it's just you being like a little facetious, and then you're like, here's what it could be, and you send them a good clip that you guys made. I don't know if you guys do outbound, but that could work. Or just put on social and tag them.
Yeah, so we just had Devin Reed on the podcast. This episode's not airing. We're just here to get some free consulting.
The fucking mics aren't even plugged in, I don't think. I think that's just...
So what do you got coming up, Devin? What are you excited for?
By the time this airs, I'll probably have just gotten done speaking at Content Marketing World in San Diego. So that's cool. Since speaking here last year, I've like made a concerted effort to get my up my speaking game and start speaking more. So I'm excited for that. And then we're gonna go all in on YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna do a little pilot program for Q4, and then that's my big bet next year is YouTube.
We've been saying YouTube for B2B is super untapped. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree, because I did a very, very quick search of like, basically I went to YouTube and was like, is there a Dave Gerhardt of YouTube for marketing? And there's like Seth Godin. He's like the guy, like he's like, if like Dave is like a big fish in our pond, I think Seth is like the next bigger fish in a bigger pond. And so I was like, surely someone has this like B2B marketing thing cornered in YouTube, and I didn't see that. So I thought that was an open opportunity. The videos that have even like 100,000 views, 50,000 views, they've been on there for 5, 6, 7 years. So
Are they company accounts or just individuals?
I don't remember. I think it was more individuals, like YouTubers. And then the one guy who had like 10,000 views on like how to do B2B marketing or whatever, it was like very YouTube-y. It didn't come across as credible. And so I'm like, I think if you're a YouTuber trying to cross into like our world of B2B, I don't think that's going to land. But if you can bring the credibility of B2B to YouTube, I think that will work. And the reason I'm just going to jump on it now after some conviction is like, it's probably going to take a couple years for like these to really get, some momentum. So I'm like, might as well just start now.
Do you think companies can be successful on YouTube?
100%. Yeah, companies can be successful on any channel. Have you seen the Can You Blend It? Have you seen this? So like the reason I was so convicted when I said that is because a lot of times marketers will tell me like my product's boring. So my content's boring. And I'm like, okay, there's a guy who sold blenders. And all he did was make YouTube videos of his blender, and he go, can you blend it? And he would put random stuff in there. And so he put like a box or like a bunch of marbles in there, blended that to ash. He put an iPhone in there, iPad in there, all this random stuff. He got millions of views on his YouTube page, and all he has is a blender that blends stuff.
Fair enough. But when it comes to B2B marketing, right, isn't that audience so much smaller? Like, what would success on YouTube look like for?
Yeah, you don't even need millions. You need thousands. Like that's the other thing. Sometimes SaaS companies will say we only have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people on our email list. Like if you converted 1% of that every quarter, like that would be a big boost. Imagine if you got 5% and they're just sitting on that gold mine. So I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's email, YouTube, anything. Like there's always an angle to make something interesting, capture that attention, and convert it into them wanting your product. That's literally just what marketing is. So anytime someone's like, no, like there's a reason we can't, I'm like, you're trying to explain to me that marketing doesn't exist. That's what you're trying to tell me right now.
Where are you putting out all your content right now? You have a
LinkedIn
newsletter.
primary.
You have LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, newsletter, the podcast we put on YouTube. We put the clips on LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram. And part of the YouTube strategy to start is just like mass repurposing. We're going to do 3 shorts per day for 3 months on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Repurpose stuff you've already done, or are you going to start creating original stuff?
So phase 1 is all repurposing. So there's 15 hours of read between the lines, high production stuff, and probably another 10 to 20 hours of like me being on other people's podcasts. Like phase 2 is an always on podcast. And that's something I can just set up in my house. So it's like, hey, did you guys see the Cracker Barrel rebrand that everyone freaked out about? I just want to be able to jump on the mic, look at the camera, talk for 5 to 10 minutes about whatever I think about it, ship that to our team and have them, chop it up, put it into a YouTube video, the podcast, and clips like 24, 36 hours later. So that's going to be like the new content. And then phase 3 is how do we actually scale read between the lines, the in-person stuff. So it's like more cost effective and like always on, even if it's like once a month.
Fire.
Boom. Well, it's dope kind of get inside the mind of Devin Reed. How's he thinking about content? How's he thinking about B2B marketing? And that was another episode of EventShark Podcast. We're going to wrap it up now.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to Drive 2025.
Yeah, check out The Reader, check out Devin. If you are a B2B company and you want to up your content game, up your marketing game, hit up Devin Reed. If you're LaRussell, fuck you.
One more thing. You want a hat? We got lots of hats. Dylan,
have a hat, but I'll take another one if you
what color do you want? We got a bunch of options here.
Ooh, I want that one, the MTV looking one. Yeah, that one's sick. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for hopping
Hey.
on. Yeah.
Boom.
There it is.
There you go.